much for joining us on your show. Micheal Dukakis, former governor of Massachusetts, and, of course, the Democratic presidential nominee in 1988. Thank you so much for being here.
Good to be with you.
We have a number of questions from our viewers. Let's start with Joe Deming. He says, you were the first vote I ever made for president. How would your policies and beliefs differ from George W. Bush?
Well, I often say these days, if I'd beaten the old man, you'd have never heard of the kid, and we wouldn't be in this mess. I mean, this is the worst national administration I've ever lived under. And what's frightening about the McCain candidacy is that it promises 4 more years of the same kind of thing. Our foreign policy is in tatters, the economy's a mess. There isn't much about what we've been going through over the past 8 years that I agree with. We've got to be a country internationally that stands for the values we really believe in. And here at home, we've got to have a president who understands how you lead an economy, how you manage an economy, and how you build an economy. And I don't have any sense that George Bush understood this, and I don't have any sense that John McCain understands this. But you can't get out of the way and let the thing happen, and that's what's been going on for the past 8 years. I mean, this idea that if you give money to the wealthy, somehow it's going to trickle down to the rest of us has been disproved so many times that I don't know why people keep buying into it, but that's essentially what we've had over the past 8 years. That's why this election is just so important.
Well, speaking of you were president, Randy Tipton from Lakewood wants to know, Mr. Dukakis, I always wanted to ask you, with great respect, why did you not make a second run for U.S. presidency?
Because I did a lousy job the first time, and if you don't do well the first time, this is not a parliamentary system. You get a second chance. I mean, it's very, very rare. What Nixon was able to do in 1968 is really quite unusual. But I had my shot and unfortunately blew it. And here we are.
Jasmine Littleton is asking, I'm in my early 40s and I put myself through college and received my degree in IT. However, the landscape of the job market has made it very hard to get sustainable work. What are the Democrats going to do to get our jobs back?
We're going to have an economic plan designed to do that. We don't have that these days, either here or internationally. We've got to invest in our public infrastructure. It's falling apart. We've got to invest in education in this country, because training and education is the key to our success. We've got to go into regions of the country that are hurting and help them turn things around. You cannot let the financial industry simply go unregulated in this country. I mean, how many times and how many scandals are we going to go through before we end up with messes like the present one? I don't know who coined the phrase subprime mortgage, but where I come from, it's a schlock mortgage, it's a crappy mortgage, it's a lousy mortgage, it's a mortgage that never should have been issued. And the result of these policies has put this economy in very, very serious trouble. There's no reason under the sun why this country shouldn't be a technology leader, an information technology leader. I mean, that's our strength, whether you come from Colorado or Massachusetts. But you don't get that way doing the kinds of things that we're doing. And when it comes to tax policy, those tax policies ought to be designed to benefit the middle class in this country, which is what most of us are. Not the super rich, not the folks that have more than they can spend. And that's what we've been getting over the past 8 years.
Well, speaking of middle class, Betty Stifler is asking, I would like to know what Obama and the rest of the Democrats are going to do about our economy, the health care in our country, all of the housing problems, and the unemployment. Where has our middle class gone?
Well, it's going down the drain under the kinds of policies that we've had over the past 8 years. Bush and the people around him, and McCain, unfortunately, having voted the other way 10 years ago, is now flipped and flopped again on this one, really have a philosophy which is based on the assumption that if somehow you help the wealthy and the super rich to get more, that the rest of us will benefit from that. Trickle-down economics has never worked, it doesn't work, and it isn't going to work. And it's one of the reasons we're in such big trouble. They believe that you deregulate financial institutions. Just get out of the way and let folks do what they want to do. We've had a savings and loan scandal over the course of the past 20 years. We've had a junk bond scandal over the course of the past 20 years. Now we've got this mortgage scandal over the past 20 years. The Greeks have an old expression, passima mathema. You're supposed to learn from your experiences. And those kinds of policies will not be part of the new Democratic administration. So we've got to invest in people. I mean, the investments we make in education and training in our higher education system are crucial to our success. I come from a state that's been one of the great high-tech and biotech success stories. Why? Because we happen to have 120 colleges and universities, some of the best in the world. And without that, my own state would not be in the kind of shape it is today. That's the kind of thing we've got to do nationally. So no question in my mind we can do it. But you don't achieve these kinds of goals by getting out of the way and kind of letting the market work. I mean, healthcare is another. We're spending double per capita on healthcare compared to the other advanced industrialized nations. They all insure everybody. We've got 45, 46, 47 million people don't have a dime of health insurance. Well, of course, when they get so sick they can't stand up, end up in the emergency room, and we're all paying for it. Now, how much sense does that make? Barack Obama and Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton and all of us on the Democratic side believe that working people and their families ought to be guaranteed basic health insurance. It'll be better and it'll be less expensive. Frankly, the McCain health plan is a joke. It's not serious. And these are the kinds of things that build an economy, that build a strong middle class. And in the last analysis, it's a strong and growing middle class is the secret to this country's success. And the middle class, quite frankly, is getting the shaft. It has for the past 8 years.
Well, let's talk about something that's been discussed during this convention. Terry A. wants to know why no one in the Democratic Party is stressing how dangerous it is for the Hillary supporters to switch to McCain just because they're, quote, hurt that Hillary did not get the presumptive nomination. Do these Hillary supporters really want 4 more years of Bush?
I think the number of people that supported Hillary Clinton who are going to vote for John McCain is microscopic. I mean, you may meet 1 or 2 of them, but as she herself said, and I thought magnificently in a speech to the convention, I hope you didn't do this for me, she said. I hope you did it for the people of the United States. I hope you did it for policies and an approach to leadership which builds a middle class, which reaches out to people, which makes this country what it has been and can be. And I don't think we're going to have a problem with folks that voted for Hillary Clinton. Now, there's still a lot of folks in the middle, including folks who never voted in the primary on either side, who are up for grabs. And those are the folks that we've got to work with and work on, and it's one of the reasons why the kind of grassroots organization that Obama's been putting together is so important. McCain has no grassroots organization, it doesn't exist. And I want to see thousands and thousands and thousands of Americans out knocking on their neighbors' doors over the course of the next 2 months. If we do that, we're going to win. But I don't think you're going to see any serious defections. And in fact, Hillary Clinton will be out there campaigning in Ohio, in Pennsylvania, in Michigan, in West Virginia, in Kentucky, and all those states where she did so well. And she's serious about it.
All right. Thank you so much. Micheal Dukakis, the longest running governor in Massachusetts.
To be sure.
Pleasure to be here.
A pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you.